Hi everyone and welcome to Storytime with Kate. Today's story is called Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there lived a little girl named Red Riding Hood. She really liked wearing beautiful red cape, and that's why people called her Red Riding Hood. Here I am, very beautiful. One day she heard that her beloved grandmother was not feeling well. So she packed some bag, put some pies in the basket, and off she went through the woods. Her mom was a bit afraid to send her daughter through the woods, so she told her not to talk to any strangers. And as Red Riding Hood was walking through the woods, someone showed up in the bushes. And it was a big grey wolf. He said, "Oh, well, little girl, where are you going?" Seeing a wolf, Red Riding Hood got a little bit scared, but she totally forgot what her mom told her. "I'm going to visit my grandmother who is ill." "Well, why do you care?" "I can smell beautiful pies in your little basket." And Red Riding Hood said, "Yes, my mom makes the most beautiful, delicious pies, and we love to share them with people, but I'm sorry, Mr. Wolf, I am a little bit in a hurry." "No worries," said Wolf. "And also, my mom told me not to talk to any strangers." And Big Grey Wolf ran away. Little Red Riding Hood was walking. She kept walking through the bush until she came to the cottage where her grandma lived. The door was already open, which was strange because her grandma was an old lady who was very careful. She opened the door and she said, "Grandmother, grandmother, can I come in?" And the squeaky, creaky voice from the bedroom, which didn't sound like grandmother at all, said, "Of course you can come in, my darling." When Little Red Riding Hood walked through the door, she saw a strange picture. Her grandmother, who looked a little bit strange and reminded her of Big Grey Wolf, was lying in bed. Little Red Riding Hood said, "Grandmother, grandmother, are you okay?" "Of course, my dear," said grandmother, "just a little bit sick." "But grandmother, why you have such big eyes?" And grandmother said, "To better see you, my love." "Grandmother, grandmother, why do you have such big ears?" "To better hear you, my darling," said grandma. "Well, grandmother, grandmother, why do you have such big teeth?" said Goldilocks. "To be able to eat you." And grandmother turned into a big grey wolf and jumped out of bed and tried to eat Red Riding Hood. "Ah!" said Red Riding Hood and ran away. She ran out of the cottage and she saw in the woods a woodcutter, and she screamed, "Woodcutter, woodcutter, I think the wolf ate my grandmother, and he was trying to eat me." The woodcutter and Goldilocks rushed through the cottage. He entered the door, and the moment the wolf saw the woodcutter, he got very scared and he ran away. "But what about my grandma?" said Goldilocks. "Where is she?" And suddenly both of them could hear a tiny, teeny noise in the cupboard. They opened the door, and there she was, a grandmother who was tied by the wolf because he wanted to eat Red Riding Hood. So grandmother invited Woodcutter and Goldilocks to eat her famous pies together, and they lived all happily ever after. But Goldilocks never walks alone through the woods. The end.